the most common phrase that I hear either from new clients that I've just done a chart reading for, people that are very new to my work, is when it comes to astrology, like, this is a lot. This is a lot. Or after I send a recorded chart reading, that was a lot of information. Everything was spot on, and you just told me like everything about me and everything that I could do, wanted to do, wanted all the things. But that it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. There's the natal planets, there's the transiting planets, there's, some people follow Vedic astrology, there are 13 signs. There's so much information, it's so confusing, and it can almost prevent you from wanting to get into this work, or prevent you from wanting to even understand anything. Usually people are like, okay, I know my sun sign, or I know my sun, moon, and rising, or I've had my chart read once, and it was so much, I have it tucked away in a drawer somewhere, and it's just like, it kind of stops people at the gate of wanting to understand or, in my perspective and practice, harness this and utilize this energy for our personal growth and development to really make this, I know we can't really tell God, like, make my ego death super duper fast, but we can tell the God of our understanding, you can trust me. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to go this way. I'm not going to go that way. I'm really going to stay the course. And try my best to take in bits and pieces of it, which can be very overwhelming and almost a little intimidating for leaders when you have a growth mindset where you're like, I just want to master it. I just want to know it. I just want to do it. With all that being said, my best recommendation is to understand the transiting planets before you really deep dive heavily into your birth chart. Look at the new moons, look at the full moons, and start there to say, okay, if I don't have to know everything about astrology, we've got 2 days a month. One day that I do some celebrating and releasing, and one day that I do some manifesting. Twice a month, you get a new moon, you get a full moon. So, with all that being said, this week's a doozy. I don't want that to scare you. Tomorrow, happy Monday, everyone. Tomorrow is our full moon eclipse in Pisces. And that can be a very interesting time for a lot of people. Eclipses are when we kind of get pushed back onto the path of our soul's growth, the path that our soul came here to do. So you might have dreams that you haven't thought of since childhood come back. I just attended the Summit of Greatness, and something that Lewis Howes talked about was, what are your dreams? What is your dream? What dreams you kind of put into bed? And what's one that you don't want to let die? That you just don't want to let die. And there were so many inspiring people that I'm still processing. I'm giving myself a few days to process that entire summit, and hearing Dr. Joe Dispenza speak, like, oh my God, so much to say. And I'll speak more about that. I'll write more about that. But so if you've been having this idea since you were younger, like, I just want to do this, just bring it back into your space, bring it back into your mind's eye, and let that kind of simmer around you. What's your current dream? What's your current paradigm hop? Just look at it. This is a full moon, so we're releasing, so there might be a lot of emotions that come up right now. We're also not really making very rational decisions right now, at least at the beginning of the week. So I would try my best for my leaders and entrepreneurs not to make any cut or dry decisions, not to sign any massive deals. You could be emotionally invested and kind of act out of that space. On Sunday, we have our Libra Equinox, which is which is, the beginning of autumn or the beginning of spring, depending on your hemisphere. So this is one of God's quarterlies. So you can kind of do a little debrief with yourself on Sunday about how you've been doing since the summer or the winter solstice in June. See what intentions you set then. What was I trying to accomplish during that last few months? And you can set some new intentions. Sorry, we're in the middle of an eclipse portal. You want me to set intentions? I do. I really do. Not today. Not tomorrow, probably not Wednesday, but see what your dreams tell you. See what comes up in that emotional space. Something that I really respected and appreciated that Lewis talked about, or he spoke on stage. He's like, I'm not a creative person, so I put performers on stage. I surround myself with art, and that's the mark of a true leader. Because as I've said in my self-mastery program, creativity is the key. It is the most important component to really working with the God of your understanding, co-creating with this world. And so if we know that we're not making rational decisions, if we know that right now we might be emotional basket cases, maybe don't. Maybe go to the woods. Maybe see a really lovely movie or art exhibition, or listen to some incredible music that you really love. Appreciate creative expression. Love upon it and see what emotions come from that. See what images, what dreams from your childhood or that, the universe has given you for a really long time that you're like, I can't do that. I can't do that. There's a preacher, a reverend, a minister, I forget who it was, and I'm kicking myself for not knowing his name. He'd said once, God's not checking your bank account when he gives you a dream. So if you have a really big dream, something that you have no idea in this moment how to accomplish, your next steps are becoming the person who can figure it out. Happy Monday.